Welcome to another Love Living Local 315, the podcast celebrating the people and stories that shape Central New York. We are your hosts, Scott and Kelly Grates, and today we're honored to sit down with Doneilous King, lifelong Utica resident, DEIB strategist, senior counselor, community builder, and founder of We Inspire Consulting. In this episode, we're going to dive into his journey from humble beginnings to decades of service in education, sports, and community organizing across the Mohawk Valley. Doneilous told us before we hit record, it's his first time ever on a podcast.
Yeah.
Is it cool to hear the intro? Like sometimes you hear all fantastic. The cool stuff about yourself. You're like, damn, that's me.
Yeah. I did that.
I hire you to introduce me.
I'll take all the work I can get. So you grew up in Utica, right? You went to school in Utica City School District. What pulled you towards community work initially, and what's kept you there the last 20 years?
Yeah, so I'm from the humble parts of town. I'm from Cornhill, and two things. My family, my grandmother impressed the importance of service in all of her grandchildren. And really, when you come from poverty and you are blessed to live the life that I live, it's only because of the love and deposits from other people. And so for me, I think I'm obligated to give back because people did it for me.
So where you start does not determine where you finish.
Yeah.
I love that. How have your early experiences, if you want to talk a little bit more about that, shaped your purpose and your drive and your values today? Do you feel like you'd be where you are today without those experiences?
No, absolutely not. I come from poverty. My mother got pregnant with me when she was 14 years old. She dropped out of high school. She got her GED, or community college degree, associate's degree, and then she got her bachelor's degree from SUNY Poly. She has her associate's from NVCC. And so just developing a sense of grit and learning how to do the most with the least, it develops a type of fire inside you to want more, to prove yourself, to be the best version of yourself when you come from, poverty. And so for me, I know I would not have been where I'm at because there was a hunger inside of me. I had a sense of drive. I wasn't happy that we were poor. And when I was younger, I wanted what other people had, but I also wanted more for myself. And I'm very thankful for my mother, my grandmother, and my family for instilling values of education and still speaking life into me to want more.
And especially to overcome certain obstacles or, like you said, to work so much harder. Like there's successful people out there.
Yeah.
But how hard was it for them to obtain that success? Whereas when you have worked so hard and done so much, it makes the success even more fulfilling. I think.
Mentioned family a couple times, right? So, and you mentioned poverty a couple times, but it sounds like the true blessing to you was that you had family there as that support system. Do you have kids?
Yeah, I have 2 kids.
So how's it changed you as a father, looking at the way your family was there for you?
Yeah, so I tried to be. I grew up in a fatherless home, and I tried to be the father that I always wanted, and try to balance out what I think my children need and some of what they want. Really, poverty is a great teacher, and sometimes I didn't know how poor we were. And then as I got older, I understood the value and importance of opportunities and access. And so I've been blessed to come from poverty, to have a pretty rich social capital and network of people to get things done, not only for me, but for the people that I serve. And so I can only attribute that to my upbringing, my family, my church family, and also my education in Utica.
So let's talk about your work. You're a senior counselor with the Educational Opportunity Program. Talk a little bit about that role and talk about what you're seeing right now that students need most, academically, socially, emotionally.
So I work in the Education Opportunity Program at SUNY Polytechnic Institute, and it's actually a program that I was in when I was in college. So it's really full circle for me, and it gives me an opportunity to give back. And so the program really is designed to provide an opportunity for students who normally would not have had an opportunity. For whatever reason in their life, they go through different challenges, and very similar to mine. And so we provide a collegiate experience that is equipped with modest financial support, academic support, cultural and social programs, really wraparound services to fill the void and provide what students need.
I want to go back to, the social piece of this, because there's a book, I think, called Who, Not How. If there's not, we should write it. And so much of what college focuses on, or maybe in the past more so than today, is learning the how. What I found is what you mentioned is it's the who, right? It's who you know. And that's hard for a lot of people who don't have families. We grew up with families who had no connections, or the wrong connections, you know? And so I'm just curious, in your situation, like, was that just innate in you? Is that just natural for you to go out and be social and meet people? Or like, what was that like in those early days to make those connections?
Yeah, I think some of it is natural, to have something inside you, to connect with people, to have a nice smile, to have a light about you that attracts people. And then some of it was building off of my family. Then I played sports, and then I was a decent athlete at Proctor High School. And so with sports, it comes some attention and connection. And then you connect with coaches, and then the coaches connect you with different people. So I think it started off with having something inside me, my family letting me know that I was special and that I had some talent. So I believed it. And then to build off of sports, and then also to be pretty bright in the classroom. And so spending some time with my teachers and taking their recommendations and meeting different people. So I think really just building off of that.
SUNY Poly, like, I'm sure, like, as parents, we have 2 children that are now in college, and you go on those college visits and you visit different colleges. And I really feel like the academics, you're getting the academics at each college, but what you're providing at SUNY Poly for the community sort of feel, and to make the kid feel welcome, that's a deciding factor for a lot of kids. And I know it was, at least for my kids. They just got that sense that when they got to the campus that they knew that they wanted to be at, they felt home and supported. And so that's kudos to SUNY Poly for the program that you're providing, that they're providing too, because it's so important. Why don't we talk a little bit about sports? You just mentioned it. Talk about what you do as far as youth sports. And
so sports has really just been a teacher for me, teacher of life. And Scott, you mentioned the piece about the social networking, social capital, and how did that get started? Was it something that just came from me? And I mentioned the sports piece. And I do believe that it's about who you know. But what I think is more important is who knows you, right? And so I could know LeBron James because everybody knows him.
yeah,
But he doesn't know me, and so that doesn't do anything for me. And so who knows you? And I think the start was that me being an athlete, people knowing me who I didn't know. And now after a while, your reputation is your introduction. It precedes you, things like that. So sports helped a lot with that social capital. In terms of just my life, sports provided a buffer for me. And so growing up in inner city Utica, living in a single parent household, there's a lot of time I spent time by myself. And so my mother's working, and she doesn't know where I'm at all times. And so sports provided structure for me. After school got out at 2:30, there's going to be a certain amount of time when I have idle time. Sports was fantastic. So growing up, going to the East Utica Boys and Girls Club, and then sports practices and things like that. So it provided structure. It provided a sense of camaraderie for me. Sports taught me how to work with a team, and so I'm able to work with a team at work now, and also taught me how to be a leader, being a captain of my basketball team and a leader of my track team. So it taught me different things that I now use in life, and in addition to that, how to be a better parent. So sports really is a teacher life for me.
Yeah, I'm own a few
huge.
different businesses,
Yep.
and one thing I look for in resumes are, did you play sports at any level?
At any level.
Even, club level, just because, like you said, teamwork, camaraderie. To me, the biggest thing is learning how to lose, learning how to deal with adversity,
Yeah.
right? Winning's easy. Like
Yeah.
when you're the star of the team, like, and you're just gifted, like that's easy. But what happens when you get knocked down?
Mm-hmm.
And then what comes next? We're a little bit older in this room. You're probably the youngest in the room, but we've seen some changes through the years, right? And that's natural. From when you were playing growing up, to the kids that you're working with and teaching today, like what's changed, good or bad or indifferent, but like how is that game different as far as where the kids are at?
Really, I was probably at the entry level of participation awards when I was coming up. My first sport was actually bowling. Many people don't know this, but I'm a really, really gifted bowler.
They do now.
We were in a bowling league. We like to bowl as well.
Saturday mornings, I'm talking about for years, ages 4 all the way up to probably 16, I bowled. But, and so I could remember a little bit of participation, maybe ribbons at the lower levels, but I don't really come from the participation trophy era. And so that, I think, is one of the biggest changes, because I do believe that you learn more from losing than you do winning.
Mm-hmm.
I've never really seen a competitive person who got used to losing, but I've seen competitive people get complacent, as a winner, as a champion. There's very few people out there like a Kobe Bryant or a Michael Jordan who is continuing to get up every morning and to try to get better, even though they've reached a certain level of accomplishments or championships. So losing, I agree with you, is a great teacher. So just over the years, I've seen that change, and I think that's done something to our competitive nature in terms of participation trophies, but also just the way that youth sports are now and how younger athletes are specializing. I graduated high school in the year 2000, and it was still common for athletes to play 3 sports, and I played 2 in high school. But now it's almost like if you have any desire or real chance of playing a Division I sport, then you have to specialize at a younger level, because if you play football in the fall and you want to get a scholarship in football, during the basketball season, the football athletes are lifting weights and they're cross-training, and if you play basketball, now you're behind. And so I think that part has kind of muddied up the youth sports a little bit, along with the numbers of participation. You have esports now, you have this digital world. So a lot of those things have pulled away from sports, where in years ago, we didn't have that many distractions and that many options.
And how expensive it's gotten, too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's the other thing that we need to keep in mind,
limits
is like
access.
to specialize in a sport, to play, whether it's club level soccer, like our son did, or our daughter wants private, like softball lessons. It's like, it's expensive.
Yeah.
I just feel bad for the gifted athletes that don't have the means for those programs and those things that they need, because we'll be honest, at the college level, sometimes that's the deciding factor.
Oh, yeah.
As like our son went out and tried out for the soccer team, and the first question the coach asked him is, what club level team are you playing for? What showcase will you be in? What? And he played baseball.
Athlete, yeah.
He ran track in the winter. He's like, I'm sorry, like I play soccer in the fall, but right now I'm running track and I'm training for baseball. So you are definitely right with that if you plan to do this at the collegiate level, you need to be working year round.
I mean,
sure.
Gosh, they got agents now, right?
Yeah.
For like,
Yeah.
I mean, or
Especially
even,
with-
you know what I mean? But not like
NIL.
companies that will help promote these kids, and it's become like a business at that level. So, and I mean, I'm sure you've seen it firsthand.
Yeah, and you make a really great point about the athletes who may not be able to afford private lessons or club sports. And so what I did was, for many years, I've created basketball enrichment programs. And so we were a response to those things. And so
That's awesome.
there were athletes that needed training and they couldn't afford it. So I created a basketball academy called DKBA, Doneilous King Basketball Academy. And we had a scholarship program for those that couldn't afford it. And then we were pretty I thought pretty affordable for a 2-hour class, $20 or $30 or so, to try to provide that. We knew that where the sport and the discipline was going. We knew that there was a need, and we didn't own a building, so obviously we have to provide a cost to rent the space, but also from my time and our staff time, but we also wanted to make it affordable. And then in terms of club basketball, we were the first division of the Nike-sponsored City Rocks out of Albany. And so Nike has about, 36 to 40 youth programs that they sponsor, or AAU programs. And we were able to connect with one of them to be a satellite or a franchise. And we were the first one, Utica City Rocks. And we wanted to connect with the best in our region, but also provide a high-level, comprehensive club or AAU opportunity for athletes in our area.
That's awesome.
You're a Utica guy. Right?
Through and through.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you that. Was there ever a minute in your life when you thought about leaving?
People ask me this all the time. And when I graduated from college in 2005 at UAlbany, I came home and people said, man, you won't be here long. And I thought about it. Then my son was born, and I said, okay, well, where else would I rather raise him? Yeah. And I said, okay, well, maybe when my children, graduate from high school, I look at it. But I remember the days of walking the streets of Cornhill and looking at where we were, looking at those who were from Utica who went on to do great things. And I thought about that one day, but something hit me shortly after college, and I said, okay, if all the talented people leave, who's left to be the connective tissue? And so I was the kid that was looking for a mentor or someone that I could reach out to that made it, but could also reach back, was available. Yeah. And I said, man, I'd like to be that connective tissue to help from within. I am who I am because of my environment, my community. I want to work in my community. So that's what was the main thing of keeping me here besides my family. So I've thought about it. I lived in Queens for a year after college. I went to school at Siena College in Albany, Sullivan County Community College down in Sullivan, New York. And then I graduated from my bachelor's degree from UAlbany. I got my master's degree from SUNY Poly. So I've been around, some different places. My father lives in Atlanta, Georgia. And everywhere I've visited, I've thought about, okay, maybe this is the place. But I have a love for Utica. And I really feel like I was put here to be a change agent. And so I think it's a design for me to be here.
Well, you're proving it and you're living it. And I guess the next question, the follow-up to that is, what's the vision? Like, what do you hope over the next 10, 20 years this place looks like?
Man, I'm a sociologist and I've always loved history. And so I'm one of those guys that go on Wikipedia and I go back and I say, okay, what year did Utica have the highest population? And so I go back and I see the old pictures and I said, man, Utica was 100,000 people. And there was so many people down here on the busy corner and, different things. And so I look back at that and I talked to some of my older relatives about the years of the industrial years or manufacturing years when Broad Street was booming and things like that. And so I envision this place of coming back, a rebirth. So thankful for the refugees in our area who saved our city when we were down in the 50,000 mark or so. And then
a lot of people don't realize that. I'm glad that you said that.
They saved our city.
Change. I mean,
No, we saved our city, gave us new life. We were losing businesses. We were losing local ethnic cuisines and different things and all of the old legendary Italian restaurants, and they were dying out. And so they gave us, really put us on the map as far as food. And then here comes these different people with different flavor, but different values too, owning homes and having restaurants and businesses. And they kind of, they saved our city. And so now with this new age of manufacturing, whether it's silicon carbide or you name it, I envision a city that is thriving, and hopefully we can get up into the 70,000 mark, 75,000 mark, and with businesses and attracting new talent, but also giving people who are from Utica a reason to come back home.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So let's change directions a little bit. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about Network and Chill and Brown Sugar and
not changing directions at all.
Well, we were talking about youth and sports and education. So let's talk about this and your passion to bring this to the community as well.
Yeah, and so for me, it's all the same. Serving people, galvanizing people, connecting people, inspiring a higher quality of life, putting a dent in the universe. I've always been a creator. I'm actually crazy enough to think I could create whatever I want. I really do. And so
those are the people who create things. But
yes,
the people who are crazy enough to believe that they can create it, right?
Also does the same thing.
Yeah, so I'm from this town, so I hear the sentiments of what's not here. I hear it and what we don't have. And I know that we are in a different market, and so I've seen it where Syracuse is 45 minutes down the road, but they were always been 5 to 7 to 10 years ahead of us in certain areas, and Albany the same thing, But I really believe that I could create anything, and so for me, whether it's King of Kings, Summer Pro-Am, or Brown Sugar or Network and Chill, it's really all the same. It's providing something that is going to bring joy to people's lives, So how I got involved. Well, the networking piece came after the D King events and the DJing. And so the DJing piece came in 2020. So I've always been a lover of music. I grew up, my family, they dance, they sing in the choir at church. Just music has been a part of our lives. Cookouts, we're playing music, you name it. And so a friend of mine, Franklin Davis, he was the first person to introduce me to smartphones years ago. I had a flip phone. I wouldn't give it up. And he's like, man, you got to get this, you got to, get into the new era. Him and Brandon Trish, they would laugh at me. And so with the smartphone, he was playing music and he had this subscription on Google Play at the time. He had an Android. And so what we're doing is for our family gatherings, we're playing music, but we're playing the songs in an order that is providing a little vibe. So we're not just creating a playlist and letting it play. We're actually choosing out of the playlist what song we want to play next. Mm-hmm. And so essentially what we're doing is curating.
Yep.
So then I see what he's doing. I was like, okay, and I'm always competitive. I said, okay, I'm going to get the subscription. And then we had this thing called Beat Wars, and we would have a few of us together, and we'd play music, and so you'd play a couple songs, and then we rate it, and then you'd play a couple songs and re-rate it. So when it came down to me, I want to play a couple songs, but I'm competitive. So I want to be able to play songs the longest and get the highest rating, So that turned into, okay, I want to get better at this thing. And so now we're at a point where we're playing music for our family cookout on a Bluetooth speaker, but we're doing it at a very, very high level. Mm-hmm. Very high level. So much so that I have a cousin named Larry Goodman who, he was single at the time. He said, whenever I get married, I want you to DJ my wedding. I said, well, I'm not a DJ. I'm playing music on the phone. He said, well, all right, well, you're DJ Press Play. They call me DJ Press Play. So anyways, then we're playing this music. And then I said, man, I want to bring this song in. I want to transition the song. But when I hit the next song, there's an intro. And it doesn't go right into it. Yeah. So I'm like, I need to transition. So I said, I need to learn how to DJ so I could bring these songs in. So I called a couple DJs. I said, hey, how do I get started? They said, you need a computer, you need a console, you need a speaker.
Mr. Flip Phone.
Yeah, right? So but by that time, I did have a little smartphone. Funny. So I get it. This is probably in 2019. And I did one DJ lesson, and it was so hard for me to get a song, to download it, and bring it over to my computer that I put it down for like a year. And then COVID happened. And everybody's in the house, and everybody's depressed. And so I dig this thing out. And it's 2020, it's the new year, and I go live. And I don't really know what I'm doing, but I'm playing good songs. Yeah. And I'm playing old school hip hop and R&B is what I grew up on, playing the 90s music. And there's people on my live. And they're like, wow, they're making comments and things like that. And then the stuff just kind of built from there. There was a young lady who owns the biggest soul food restaurant in Albany, Emish Young. She owns Kitchen 216. And she was on my Facebook and she said, hey, I'm having a seafood fest. I want you to come on and DJ. I said, I'm not a DJ. I'm a Facebook DJ,
Yeah.
She's like, no, I listened to your set the other day. It's like 45 minutes and I cleaned my house. Just come out and do that. So I went out there. And it was my first paid gig, and I think I DJed for over like 5 hours, and I made $100. I was like, wow, somebody paid me to DJ,
Yeah.
I didn't even have a table. I brought these speakers that I had, and I didn't have a table, so I went to Home Depot, and I got a little table, and I DJed. And then from then on, I just started doing little events, and this thing kind of just blew up.
Yeah.
So I've always had a passion for music. I used to play the trumpet when I was in high school, so I understand music theory, and I have a pretty decent ear. And I think if you're an artist or a musician, DJ will come a little easier. And now they make DJ. It's like DJing for dummies. They got these boards. It's not like back in the day where you have carrying up crates and records.
Right,
this is anybody can learn how to do it. So I came along at a good time. But that's really how it started. And now we've done different shows in different cities, and I've DJed in Tampa and Virginia Beach and New Jersey. I've DJed all over. So I'm really living a dream. I really can't believe it because I don't come from DJing. Nobody in my family really showed me how to DJ.
Mm-hmm.
I have an uncle who DJed many, many years ago, but I really just picked it up. And anything that I pick up that I love, I try to be the best I can at it.
Mm-hmm.
And luckily, I was pretty good. And people seen what I was doing, and they liked it. So that's how we got here. And so I have what we call the Brown Sugar, the Ultimate R&B Experience. It's a quarterly R&B DJ-driven sing-along event. It's like a giant karaoke event. We now operate at the Delta. The next one is February 28th. We have Jay Holiday as our special guest. And so we're starting to bring special guests in. And so it's really amazing. It's full circle.
That's so exciting.
And then you asked about Network and Chill. That was the long version. So then I said, okay, Doneilous, I live a pretty great life. I got a lot of great connections in our area, and I'm connected to all type of movers and shakers and millionaires and people who can really make things happen. But I work at SUNY Poly. I'm going to retire there, so I don't need a new job. I said, well, we're always looking for different reasons to party. I said, but what if we could do something different? I said, I have a pretty extensive network, but my friends and family don't have access to that network.
Mm-hmm.
I want to bridge the gap.
Yep.
And so I created something where I would put people in a room together that normally aren't put in a room together. And I say you're a CEO of First Source. And if you're the CEO, in order for me to have a meeting with you, I have to go through these channels. I have to have a cold call, and I got to meet with 5 people, but they got to vet me first.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I created something where we go back to the basics, where an entrepreneur who has a podcast could now do an icebreaker with the CEO of a company.
Yep.
And that's what Network and Chill is all about. And so we operate the first Thursday of every month. We're out of Milano, the old Chesterfield's legendary restaurant on Bleecker Street. The doors open at 7. From 7:30 to 8:30, we do passive networking. We do an icebreaker. We have a sponsor for each month that they'll speak. We'll do a raffle. And then an hour is done. And after that, at 8:30, we start the chill portion. The name is a play on Netflix and Chill.
Okay.
Network and Chill.
Yeah.
That's
How do
awesome.
people find you? How do they connect? How do they get involved?
So we have a Network and Chill 315 Facebook page. I promote everything on my D King Events Facebook and Instagram pages. Also share it on my personal pages. So we're on social media, Instagram and Facebook with Network and Chill, D King Events. So that's how we connect with people. And once people come, then we put them on our email list and we send them, a reminder out. And we're now in partnership with the Utica Chamber of Commerce, and also we received a grant from the Community Foundation. They've seen the great work we've been doing since 2022, and they've gotten behind it.
We hit a nerve. We got you going, but you went to a next level on us there. There's so much to unpack. I won't do it justice, but I'm starting to connect the dots, right? Like you mentioned you're the glue. You mentioned early on the social piece, right? You mentioned the relationships. You're a connector, right? But you're also, you're working with students. You're a family man. You're a sociologist. Yeah. You're a scientist. You're involved in the colleges. You know what I mean? Like you're doing the network thing. You're a DJ.
Yeah.
So I guess Who are you?
Really, I'm just a community servant. I'm just a vessel. When it's all said and done, I want people to say he inspired me. I think inspiring humans, I think it's the highest level of service. I'm just a young man who believed in himself, that others believed in, that wanted to make a difference. And so I know that my time on earth is only for a season, and I really want to give back and leave this world better than I found it. And I think the best way to do that is to inspire others.
You're doing it.
For sure.
Yeah.
So you did mention that you're going to retire at SUNY Poly.
Yeah.
You're not looking for a different job.
No.
What does success look like? Like in 10 years? What from 10 years
Listen,
from now?
listen. We've been together 30 minutes. He might not be looking, but something might find him.
So the plan is, next year at SUNY, I will have been there 20 years. I started working there. I was 24 years old, and so the plan is to opt to early retirement and to then work on my consulting business where I can go around and I can speak and I can work with different groups at my leisure. At the same time, I can visit different places with my family. And We Inspire Consulting is really a culmination of my life's work. And so that's really the next phase for me. Success, for me is just being healthy, having a loving family, and enjoying, life. So I think I've reached that level that measure in terms of success. But the next phase, is the consulting company where I can wake up every morning to do what I love and go on whatever way that I want to go into, but also use that to travel and to meet different people.
So no matter what, you're just going to continue to be a vessel.
Yeah, that's it. I'm just here to serve. That's I'm not, as long as I'm breathing, I'm going to serve. I'm going to be working with people.
That's awesome.
And maybe after too, right? I mean, all kidding aside, like your legacy will live on. And, that's true time, freedom, flexibility, impact, right? It's like what everyone dreams of. Yep. Who's your ideal client that we inspire? Like who would hire you? Who should hire you?
Yeah. And so professionals, whether it's a company or individuals that want to grow, they have talent and they might be lacking in certain areas, work-life balance, being a better leader, being a better communicator. And they're committed to serving others, but also committed to individual growth, personal development. That's my, ideal client.
So a young person that has vision and that might want to be an entrepreneur, what advice would you give them if they're struggling like right now? What quick piece of advice could you give them that might help them?
Do what you love first. Find a way to make money, but you won't make money in the beginning.
Okay.
Right? And so it's like you want to make some money, there needs to be a dynamic exchange. But if you're doing what you love and you're making a difference and you're doing it at a high level, then you're going to create value and then the money will come.
It will. Okay.
The money will come after. And so I study people, right? Sociology, the study of human behavior, human interaction. People know if you're doing it for the money. Right. They can tell. But if you're really, really good at it, you got to create value. And so I believe all the money that we want is out there and it's in somebody's pocket. And we got to find a way to create value so that they give it to us.
Yep.
And if you are the best at what you do, or you're really, really good at what you do, then you can charge a higher premium for your service and people are going to pay that.
That is a common denominator with so many people that we've had on this show. At the beginning.
It's just a truth.
At the beginning, when you are first starting out with whatever your passion is, do it for free. Build that network.
Yeah.
Get those connections. And then once people realize how good you are, that's when you can start making money off of it.
I'll give you an example.
Huge.
When I started training, my first client was Brianna Keisel, who went on to play in the WNBA, she graduated from Proctor High School, went to University of Pittsburgh. And so I seen her in 8th grade. I said, wow, this young lady is like something I've never seen. We probably won't see her for another 50 years, an athlete like her. And I talked to her father. It took them a few months. I gave her my phone number. I met her at a basketball game. I gave her my phone number. I said, have your parents call me. Her father called me months later, And we talked for 20 minutes or so. At the end of the conversation, he said, okay, I gave him my pitch. He said, well, how much are you going to charge me? I said, I'm not going to charge you anything. He said, well, what do you mean? You're going to do all of these things?
Yeah.
I said, the time I'm going to spend with her and what I'm going to do, you really can't pay me for. I said, but if you do what I asked you to do, and then when people start asking you, what have you been doing to get better? You tell them the truth. Mm-hmm. And probably within 3 weeks, I was getting calls. Hey, I heard you've been working with Brianna Keisel. Can you train me? Can you train me? Can you train? But what I did with her, and we had an understanding. I said, listen, Bri, I'm not going to charge your family. You're going to help me. I'm going to help you. You're going to help me. And so I built my curriculum and my teaching points working with her. So I would work with her probably 4 days a week for 2.5 hours. So I was learning how to train while working with her. She was my case study. Mm-hmm. And that's really what it is. So you gotta train, or not train, but you have to do something for free to get your feet wet, to learn your routine, but then also for people to know who you are and establish some type of credence or credibility.
Yeah. The other thing that you have that all successful people have, it's a common denominator trait, is this abundance mindset. Mm-hmm. And it's funny with money. People think, well, if so-and-so has money, then I can't. Right. Mm-hmm. But the abundant mindset goes, there's enough money for everybody.
Yeah,
right? There's enough joy for everyone. There's enough connections for everyone. There's whatever you're looking for, there's enough for everybody. And so ultimately it becomes, what problem do you solve? And when we talk to kids, it's like, what's the problem that you're going to solve? Because if money is your thing, money is always in direct proportion to the size of the problem you solve. So the bigger the problem you solve, or if you can do something that no one else can, right, then the money will follow. And I think that's a piece that sometimes people lose sight of. First of all, the servant heart, doing it, expecting nothing in return. Yeah. When you consistently do everything expecting nothing in return, the funny thing happens, and you've manifested this in your life. People want to give you everything. Yeah.
Or when you have that aha moment with the consulting, like, hey, I've become successful at this. All I want to do is help others get the same thing. Yeah. It's that servant heart. It's that mindset that, like, I've done this and now let me teach you how to, because you can do the same thing. Yeah. Which is,
This has been fun, man. I know. I think Spina got up to let us know we're like an hour in.
Are we running out of time?
But our cassette tape is running out of space.
Right? Remember those days? You got to flip it over, right? You
wait for the DJ. You got the DJ talking at the end, unpause.
That reverse button was huge. You knew one spot where you could
that was my DJ skills.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Oh, man. So, Doneilous, we end all these with rapid fire questions designed to be a little bit lighter and hopefully fun. And this has been a great interview and just a great, an absolute pleasure for us. So thanks for coming in, man.
No, thanks for having me.
Yeah. Okay. What's your go-to comfort food?
Jamaican food.
Okay.
Something specific?
Yeah, so right now I'm on this honey jerk salmon. I love it. Yeah, so I'm a pescatarian. Before that, it was jerk chicken.
All right, so it's too funny. That's what we had for dinner last night.
Where'd you go?
So I'm at Ricky's Island Bar and Grill in Sylvan Beach, who used to be HK in Utica. I have a friend now who created a business where she teaches people how to cook. Marsha Shaw, she has something called Papa's Grill, Mama's Table. She will actually come into your home and teach you how to make your favorite Caribbean meal. But then she also sells plates. But then there's Island Breeze, that's not far from here. You have Utica Caribbean Market. So I go to all of the different Caribbean restaurants in this area.
Marsha cook in our life. Kelly tried some Jamaican salmon last night.
I'm normally just like...
She wasn't happy with it.
I ate it. It needed. He's like, I think it's good. I'm like, it could be better, because normally salmon I just put like salt, pepper, lemon, a little bit of garlic. I did the honey last night, and I tried and I'm like, I just expected it to be better. So I need to perfect it.
I'll connect you, and she'll come in. Right. It can be just you two. It can be your family. You have friends.
It'll just be me. I don't let him talk. Makes me nervous.
We talk about that. It's something we've never done. Like, it's social. Bringing.
Yeah.
We're always looking for gather for a purpose, right? And so how do we bring people together? And food is such a great
Okay.
And we did it as a date night, my fiance and I.
That's awesome.
We learned something, and then the food was great.
Okay.
So much for rapid fire. Sorry.
I'm sorry. I know.
What's your favorite memory growing up? Probably hard to pick, but one of your favorite memories growing up in Utica.
So I grew up playing basketball at Miller Park, or Martin Luther King School. Many, many days there. That was probably one of my favorite places to be growing up. I knew the history of basketball in our area, and that was like the main park. So I love that. But also in church, Hope Chapel AME Zion Church. It was the first African American church in Utica. And I learned all of my leadership skills from there. But I remember we used to do these Black History program things, and you have to pick a person and you become that person. And because I played the trumpet, I was Louis Armstrong. Yeah. And so I just remember those days being in Christmas plays and Easter plays and Black History programs at my church. So
that's powerful, by the way, when you put yourself into that mindset, start thinking about yourself different.
Yeah.
What's one book or movie that shaped your worldview?
Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins, the greatest book I've ever read.
He's not human.
Yeah.
Early bird or night owl?
Night owl.
What's a hobby or activity you enjoy outside of work that people might not know about you?
Yeah, bowling.
Bowling. Yeah. I was going to say.
Most people, unless you really know.
We could have hustled. So many of our bowling areas, too.
Bowling. I was like a young Tiger Woods at bowling, too. I'm serious. Bowling. Now, the only people who was with me years ago and my family know that I could actually bowl, and that was my first sport. A lot of people know me from basketball, but I didn't start playing basketball until I was like 12 years old.
We need to get some. It's dying around here. It's so sad. Like I think Vista Lanes is the only.
Yeah, Panorama's gone. Yeah. Sunset's gone. I used to bowl at one spot in New Hartford, so I'm old school. and my family was on Kasuth, Madison Lanes.
We're real old
years
school.
ago.
We had a bowling alley in Frankfort. It was Thurston's, and we used to go all
I remember people talking about Thurston Lanes. That's years ago.
We're way older. Yeah.
Oh, bowling's a weird sport to me because nothing changes. Right? I mean, maybe the oil on the lane a little.
Well, you don't have to keep score by hand anymore.
Yeah. But my point is, like, there's
now.
so many variables in basketball and hockey and football, and but it's like it's the same distance. The pins don't move. The ball's the same size and weight. Like,
just gotta hit that
like,
arrow
how can
on
everyone
the lane?
not perfect it? It's mind numbing because I suck at it, and I'm like, how is it this hard? It's the same every time.
Yeah,
just repeat the motion.
It's something interesting.
That's so funny.
What's one thing you wish people outside of Central New York knew about Central New York?
I believe that Utica is the food capital of upstate New York. I believe we have the greatest authentic cuisine that people don't know about. I just really do. I'm a foodie. I eat everywhere I go. And I know I'm biased, but I've been just telling people, like, years ago we were known for Italian food, but now we have really good Italian food. We have good Lebanese food, Indian food, Caribbean food, soul food, Bosnian food. I mean, we have incredible, authentic, ethnic cuisine, and I think we're like the best secret.
It's too funny because I was with my daughter 2 days ago, and we were passing Olive Garden, and she goes, "Mom, we've never been there." I said, "You're right. I will never take you." Why? And I go, because we have too many great local Italian restaurants.
Yeah.
We are not going there.
Yeah.
I said for years, I'm like, there will never, ever be an Olive Garden in Utica area. And
it doesn't even make sense.
And people go there.
It's like Pizza Hut or Domino's. I've never been to any of those.
The coupons. I don't know.
I can't.
I'll take it a step further, though. I don't think enough people in Central New York know just how diverse and amazing the food is, self-included. Like, you just rattled off 4 Jamaican-style restaurants. I'd never heard of any of them.
I know.
I don't think we know enough.
No, our food in Utica is incredible. I mean, we have, 51 or 2 different languages in Utica spoken, and the cuisine is here. Asian cuisine. I mean, it's incredible, the variety of food that we have and the quality.
Yep. All right, what's a small daily ritual or habit that keeps you grounded and focused?
So I meditate every day. I meditate and I pray, and I just want to be centered, and I want to practice developing a spirit of gratitude. So every day I meditate and I say thank you for the different things that I have going on in my life. There's a woman who works at the food services at SUNY Poly, and she calls me fabulous. And the reason why she calls me fabulous is because every time she sees me, she asks me how I'm doing, and I say something like extraordinary or amazing or fabulous.
This morning when you walked
But
in.
that's just who I am, and I think if you woke up amongst the living and your legs work and your arms work and you go to a job that pays you and your family's healthy and they love, I think we're just really, really blessed. And so I try not to focus on what is not, and I try to be thankful for what is, and so meditate daily.
You're such a good human.
Can't be hateful when you're grateful.
Yep.
And
that.
we are grateful to have spent this hour with you, Doneilous. Truly.
Thank you so much.
And I'm hearing family and faith and friends and fun, right? All the F words that you just exude, and you're living it. And the area is blessed to have you, man.
Thank you for taking time to have this conversation.
Of course.